Hi, ladies. It's your podcaster, Helen. This is episode 7. So, today's episode is debit cards versus cash. The other day at work, I had change quarters for the vending machine. I wanted to get something out of the vending machine and I had quarters. I made it a business to take quarters out of my pocketbook to take inside of work to get a snack if I needed a snack. So when I got to the vending machine was not working. So I went around in the office asking people if they had $1 for 4 quarters. Well, I want to tell you that I asked a lot of people, did they have $1 for 4 quarters? I won't tell you how many people I asked for $1 for 4 quarters because I want you to put it on my podcast and guess how many people I had to ask before I came across one person that had a paper dollar bill for 4 quarters. This is crazy. And I thought to myself, as I was asking my coworkers for a paper dollar for 4 quarters, how crazy is this? Because everybody said, oh, I don't even have $1. All I have is my debit card. And at that point, it made me really think, oh my God, if the system goes down right now, what would you do? Because you don't even have $1. You don't have $1. If the system just went black, you don't even have $1. And for me, that made me feel really crazy because I was like, if you need to buy something and you can't use your debit card, what are you going to do? So my thought was, how much cash should you keep on yourself? Myself, I try to keep at least $20 on myself in cash versus the debit card, because we swipe those debit cards so much, and then when we look up, our money's gone because we've swiped it so much. But I found out that if you have at least $20 to $50 in your pocket and you have to run in a convenience store to get something and you spend your cash versus using your debit card, when you look up, you have way more money than you thought you had because you had those extra few bucks in your pocket that you could spend when you went inside of the convenience store or just pulling up to a drive-thru to a restaurant. So my question for you guys is, how many people do you think I had to ask before I came across one person, and this was a guy, that said, I got $1. And he actually had more than $1 in his pocket. But it was crazy how many people I had to go to before I found one person that actually had a paper dollar. So what do you think? How many people did I have to go through to get a paper dollar? And do you think putting some cash in your pocket is beneficial? Or do you think just continuing to use your debit card is beneficial? That's what I wanted to do a poll on today. And trust me, whoever comes up with the correct number will receive something from me for coming up with the correct number. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be a huge gift, but it is going to be something that you get for your time, for responding to my question. Debit card versus cash. Should you have some money in your pocket to pay for small items versus using your debit card? I know I feel crazy when I pull up to a store and I have to use my debit card for $2, even $1. I'll be like, this is crazy. You should at least have $1 in your pocketbook. So how much do you think you should have in your pocket versus using that debit card? I say at least $20 to $50. What's your thoughts on this? And I open up the comments because I want feedback, because feedback helps the next person. It could be a teenager that's coming up and they went on my podcast website and they saw this debit cards versus cash, and it teaches them, okay, instead of using my debit card all the time, I need to have at least $20 in my pocket. So when I run in the store and they want to buy a bag of Takis, they're not using their debit card. They're using cash. They just might want to go in there and get a 79-cent soda. You got $1 in your pocket. You can at least pay for that 79-cent soda with that dollar versus using your debit card. So this was my Friday's podcast about debit cards versus cash, because these debit cards, I swiped my debit cards so much. One weekend I was like, where did my money go? I couldn't even tell you where the money went at because I was swiping it so much. But if I had at least $20 to $50 in my pocket, it would have saved me. It would have helped me. So this is my thought for this Friday. Right now, and if you wanted to go buy you a wine cooler, if you had $5 in your pocket, you could buy that wine cooler with the $5 versus, Lord knows I need a wine cooler on Fridays after I get off. So you want to have that cash in your pocket. So that's just a little bit of food for thought on this Friday night, evening for you. And please respond. Put your comments on the podcast page because it matters. I'm trying to build a community of people, and we come together and we help one another and we make it fun. And so that's why I'm throwing in something. Whoever gets the correct amount of people that I had to go to before I got a paper dollar so that I could get my cupcakes out that vending machine that I was craving is going to win something. So please, I'm going to just do this before I leave. The number would be between 1 and 10 of how many people I had to go to. So if you get the right number, then you definitely going to get something from Helen's podcast. And I look forward to sending you something from Helen's podcast. So please leave your feedback on the podcast page and continue to lift one another up, build one another up. Let's not tear anyone down. This is going to always be positive. And let's continue to just show light, love, and respect to one another. Because in these days and times, we need light, love, and respect. And I'm still continuing to pray for everybody that was in the path of Hurricane Ian. To those who lost their homes, or a loved one that may have lost their life, or whatever the case may be, I'm still continuing to lift each and every family member up. I know where I live at, we got blessed. It did not hit us at all. And we just got a little bit of wind. It's not raining as expected. And we're just so blessed to be in this city of Savannah, Georgia. That's where I live at. And we're so blessed to be here because we always seem to miss the brunt of these hurricanes because we're kind of like in a little nook, and so they always make a turn. They never come here. So I just want to send out positivity to all the people that was in the path of Hurricane Ian, and I want to send out love, especially to one of my nieces that was in Tampa, Florida, who only had a tree hit her fence. Davita and her boys was there, and KJ and Caleb, and they made it through that storm. And I want to send out love to them and her for being a military veteran to weather through that with her two boys. I'm so proud of her, and I'm just so happy that she and her boys made it through the storm okay down there in Tampa, Florida. So those are my thoughts and prayers tonight for everybody that was in the path of Hurricane Ian. I love everybody. Please tune into my podcast. It's positive, it's fresh, it's new, it's innovating, and it's going to only get better and grow. So continue to chime in, tell everybody that you know about it, and let's build one another up. Have a great Friday evening. Bye.